Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2020, and in today's video we've just been dropped off by the bus outside our PMDG 737-800. This is in the Fly Safair green and gold livery, and we're on the ramp here in Cape Town, so we're at Cape Town International, and the plan for today is to take our 737-800 from here in Cape Town, where the weather is nice and clear as you can see, along the coast east to East London, where the weather reportedly is not so clear. So we're going to be flying a bunch of passengers down to East London. And of course, we're also going to be using FS2Crew and SLC for our flight crew and passenger simulations. So for today, this will be my first time showing off SOP 2 for the 737, for the PMDG 737. So we'll be doing FS2Crew's SOP 2, which is based on Ryanair's SOPs, and puts quite a bit more focus on the captain doing a lot of the work. So that means with SOP 2, you as the captain and the pilot flying will be doing significantly more than with SOP 1, where the first officer does a lot of the configuration of the airplane setup and things like that. So we'll be running through our FS2Crew checklists, and of course we will have SLC running as well for our passengers. But I think it's time now that we've checked out the aircraft nice and briefly to jump aboard, and we can then get FS2Crew running and start getting things set up for our flight today. Okay, so here we are aboard the flight deck. Let's just get FS2Crew running so we can start getting things set up. Okay, so essentially we've just had a little look around the aircraft. The first officer will do the official walk around. We've got a whole bunch of things to do here, so let's start getting ready. We'll just get power to the aircraft, and then we can get our passengers boarding as well. So we need to do a lot of this setup. So we're going to do battery on. Oops, that should stay on battery. That guy can come on, and make sure that those two are off. Check that the landing gear lever is down, which it is. That should be up, and that should be up as well. Right, then we can come up here, make sure that this is on steady. We can also on the emergency lights and give this button a test, which works fine. Okay, test our takeoff config warning, so we push the throttles forward. That works. Right, we also want to get some power. So we'll get our ground power for now. Right, so let's engage that. Okay. Then our engine fire tests. Okay, we can confirm the gear pins in place. And this is checked closed. Right, voice recorder should be on. And then we can come back here and test these guys. I don't know, these don't make a sound, and I'm not sure. It's supposed to do like the whole stick shaker and all of that, but it doesn't seem to do anything. So I don't know if I'm missing something or if it just doesn't work. I'm assuming it should work. So maybe I'm missing something. Maybe we have to have something else on here. But I mean, the kind of flow just says do it now, but it doesn't make any sound. Okay, that should be out. And these we can dial to nav, of course. That's checked. That's all fine. Right, I think we're good to go on that for now. Other thing we need to double check is parking brake, and that is set. Right, then we can, our first officer is still out doing walkarounds, so we can start setting up our route for today's flight. So let's actually just check the weather. So here, looking nice, 20 degrees. Really not much to talk about in terms of clouds or anything. It says a few clouds at 3,500. I don't see any at all. Okay, if we look at East London, saying overcast at 2,800, so not too bad now. A little earlier today, they were reporting overcast at 400 feet. So not too bad, but we've got a few clouds at 800 as well. So it's still going to be cloudy coming in. And our alternate, oh wow, our alternate is even worse. So I think at that kind of reading, we probably wouldn't go to Durban. We'd come back to Cape Town. We could also divert to Port Elizabeth as well if needed. Okay, so zero fuel in today, 55.2. Takeoff weight of 62.5. Flight time, 1 hour and 20 minutes. And we're going up to 350 with 7.5 tons of fuel on board. And cost index of 44. We're departing runway 19 today with the Opted 1 Charlie SID. So we can dial that in. Arrival, runway 29. And our star is... we don't have one. Okay, so we're just going to kind of do vectors in, I suppose. So ILS 29, that's fine. Reserve's normally 1 on a route like this. Yeah. mean, we could do 1.1, round it up a little. We're going to 350. Winds 260.31. And it's minus 45. Okay, so let's go and pin our airport. And our star today is 1 Charlie. Did I say 1 Charlie? 1 Charlie, okay, cool. Okay, so we've got that there. Right. Can we get this to go away? It doesn't look like. Oh, probably if I do that. There we go. Okay, transition altitude 7,500 is set correctly. Okay, so we're going out over the ocean and then left turn to octet above flight level 085. And we'll be well above that, so that's perfect. Right, we'll do 35 today, or actually, if we go back here to the performance tool, we can actually do our calculations. So, runway 19, optimum anti-ice can stay off, PACX will be on. Okay, so flaps 5, which makes sense, that's standard. Rating takeoff 1. Select a temp of 46. Takeoff 1.
Hi, the security and safety checks are all done. Are you good to start boarding?
Go for it.
Thanks.
Okay, that means we can get our passengers boarding.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. How are you?
Ground to cockpit. Hi there. I'm okay today, thanks.
Great. We're just preparing the cabin for the passengers. We'll speak to the terminal staff once the door is open and find out how long they think it will be until boarding begins.
Okay, no problem. Feel free to open the doors whenever you're ready.
No problem.
Go ahead. Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please. Microphone check is 5 out of 5. Okay, Captain. Radio check is complete. We'll contact you when we're ready to start loading. Roger.
Okay, cool. So they're going to be loading baggage and boarding passengers. Right, so we're selected temp 46. We put in, and we're TO-1, which we have selected. 137, 38, 43. 37, 38, 43. Nice. Let's do this while we're here.
Hello.
Hello, Captain. Okay, so I've spoken to security and they've started checking in, but there's around another 10 minutes to go before we expect to be seeing any passengers.
Okay. Feel free to start boarding whenever they're ready to come on board. Let us know once you've started.
No problem.
I should actually start SLC a bit earlier. I always forget that it's got the kind of delay for the passengers built in. So I'm just going to pause the FS2Crew kind of pre-flight events thing so that SLC can catch up a bit. But we can carry on setting up. So quite windy, 23 knots of wind today for takeoff 160. So we have a little bit of a crosswind, nothing too crazy. Right, if we go back to our charts, okay, we need to go and look at our airport chart now. Okay, runway 19 is our departure runway today. So that's nice and simple. We're going to push to face to our right, so tail left, and then taxi apron Alpha 1, cross runway 16, hold short of runway 19 at Alpha 2. Very chilled. Okay, we might as well start setting this up as well, and we'll dial this up all the way to 350 today. Okay, our VREF was 145, I think. Okay, so just quickly updated, so we have hectopascals here, so QNH is 1016.
Ground to cockpit.
It's probably them done loading.
Go ahead. Hi, Captain. Just a quick update to let you know that we started loading.
Oh, it's starting.
We'll send the final load sheet up once we're ready. Roger.
Okay, that's all set. Okay, the passengers are going to be boarding shortly, so let's get the APU on so we can get some air conditioning running.
Go ahead.
Stand by for ground power disconnection. We're starting the APU now.
Roger. We'll monitor the startup from down here and let you know if we see anything untoward.
Roger.
Okay, APU started up, so let's get that on the buses. Then we can actually tell them to disconnect the ground power.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Please disconnect ground power.
Roger. Stand by. Ground power has has been disconnected.
I'm back. No issues on the walk around.
Roger.
Okay, our first officer is back, so he's going to start his pre-flight procedure. We've got a couple more things to check, like our lights.
Glide slope. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Airspeed low. Airspeed.
Okay, I've done the flight directives, so this we can do.
Great.
Turn on position and data is fine, and that's about all we need for now.
Don't sink.
He's testing the
Don't
GPWS,
Too low. Terrain.
and I'm happy that this is all set.
Too low.
So we're pretty much now,
Too low. Terrain.
for the moment, waiting for him to finish his procedures. Then we can do some checklists, and of course, we're just waiting for the passengers to finish boarding.
2,500, 1,000, 500, 100, 50, 30, 20, 10.
Wind shear. Wind
Hi,
shear.
here's the fuel
Wind
slip.
shear.
Thanks.
Too low.
Welcome.
Terrain.
Have a nice flight.
Caution. Terrain. 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 Pull up.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. We've started boarding now as the passengers are being greeted.
Thanks.
Alright, we've got a bunch of other pre-flight things to do now, which we can get cracking with now that the passengers are boarding. So, flight control switches are guarded. We can turn the yaw damper on now because our IRS is aligned. Nav transfer and display switches, normal and normal, or normal and auto. And okay, crossfeed valve is set. Fueling is done, so we can actually turn these all on at this point. Right, then we can come up here. These two should be on, which they are. Trim air should be on. We can actually turn our packs on for now with our APU bleed, just so the passengers have some air conditioning at the back there. And we're going to want to check oh wow, it's hot at the back there. Yes, we'll keep an eye on that temperature. That's bad. I mean, we're over like 32 degrees, but hopefully that'll start coming down quite quickly. Okay, we're done refueling, so we can turn the seatbelt signs on. Right, wipers are parked. Okay, window heats we can turn on. We'll leave the probe heats for now. Those should be off. Okay, we've set our cruise up, but I didn't set landing altitude. So let's just come back here. Right, 435. So we'll do 450. Right, we can turn these guys on.
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Loading has been completed. We're sending the load sheet up to you now. We're waiting for you to close up. Once the beacon light is switched on, we'll contact you to begin pushback.
Roger. Hello.
Hi, Captain. Okay, here's the load sheet from ground. I went to the passenger count here, the crew count here, and the total number of souls, not including yourselves, here.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Okay, call me when you're ready to go and we'll get moving.
No problem.
Okay, some other things I just need to check. So that we've done, That should be auto, that's set. We've set both of those. We don't need logo because it's daytime. These should both be off. We're going to do, what's today? Today's the 9th, so we will do left-hand side. Okay, standby instruments. Okay, MCP is set. What we can do is engage these now. This should be set to RTO. Okay, this all looks good. Oxygen pressure is checked. Okay, the other thing we need to check is these guys should be set to normal, which they are. Transponder code is set and we should be on standby at the moment. And then this we can choose 1 or 2. We'll go with 1 today. And then these guys should be 0. Alright, then we're pretty much just waiting for the passengers to finish boarding. So I'll check with you again when it's time to do the next kind of checklist, or when our passengers are done boarding. Okay, we're making good progress with the boarding. We've got quite a lot of checklists to do. So let's first run the departure brief and we can start getting cracking the checklist while the last of the passengers take their seats.
Are you ready for the departure brief?
Go ahead.
Okay, it's going to be a standard pushback and start off the stop. Taxi route will be assigned by ATC. It'll be a left seat takeoff using an assumed temperature. Planning a flaps 5 takeoff. Anti-ice will be on. We are under our maximum landing weight, so we are okay to make an immediate return. Okay, all going well. The departure routing will be via the ATC assigned SID, complying with all the published speeds and altitude restrictions. We'll use NADP1, LNAV and VNAV are out. Flight directors are on, mine is master, yours is slave. Navigation radios are set, no TANs and the aircraft defect log have been reviewed. The local terrain poses a threat, so we will treat all GPWS terrain alerts as genuine. Any questions, comments or concerns?
No questions.
Departure brief complete.
Okay, so the checklists in SOP2 are quite a bit longer than what we used to in SOP1, so we've got a bit to get through here. Safety inspection checklist and before start checklist
here's
to
the
line.
load sheet for you.
Thank you.
Safety inspection checklist. Surfaces and jocks.
No problem, have a safe flight.
Set and checked.
Maintenance status.
Checked.
Battery.
On.
Electrical hydraulic pumps.
On.
Landing gear lever.
Okay, let's just answer the cabin crew quickly and we'll carry on.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. All passengers are now on board.
All right, you can close the doors whenever you're ready.
Okay, I let the crew know and we'll get closed up as soon as we can.
So yeah, we could have started checklist earlier.
Close doors.
Down.
Ship's library.
Checked.
Safety inspection checklist completed. IRS mode selectors.
Nav.
Gear pins.
1, 2, 3, remove.
Probe covers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, remove.
Light test.
Checked.
Oxygen.
Tested 100%.
Tested 100%. Yaw damper.
On.
Nav transfer and display switches.
Normal auto.
Fuel.
7,500 kilograms. Set and checked.
Cabin utility IFE galley power.
On.
Emergency exit lights.
Armed.
Fasten belts.
On.
Fasten belts.
Oh, also for SOP2, if the item is not in the correct position, he just repeats the that checklist challenge. So obviously they want it in fully on for this. On.
Window heat.
On.
Air conditioning and pressurization.
PACX auto bleeds on set.
Pressurization and mode selector.
Auto.
Instruments.
Cross-checked.
Auto brake.
RTO.
Hydraulics.
Normal.
Speed brake.
Down details.
Parking brake.
Set.
Stabilizer trim cut out. Switched.
Normal.
Wheel well fire warning.
Checked.
Radios, radar and transponder.
Set and standby.
Rudder and aileron trims.
Bring in 0.
Takeoff briefing.
Discussed.
PA.
Complete.
FMC and CDU.
Set.
N1 and indicated airspeed bugs.
Set and checked.
Stabilizer trim.
5.5 set. Set and checked.
Performance, weight and balance.
Signed and sent.
Signed and sent. Phones.
Off.
Off. Electronic flight bag.
Airplane mode and stowed.
Airplane mode and stowed. Flight deck windows and cockpit door.
Locked.
Doors.
Closed.
Doors.
Closed.
Passengers.
Seated.
Before start checklist to the line completed.
Okay, let's just welcome our passengers on board and then we'll get going.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Hi, Captain.
I'll call you back in a sec. Sorry.
No problem.
Thanks, it'll be a short taxi.
Thanks, let me know if you need anything.
Good evening from the cockpit. This is your captain speaking. I'd like to welcome you on board this evening's flight. I hope you're all well. We're currently
So I'm going to say departure weather's
here in the
moderate
cockpit.
just
Once
because of
we're
the
airborne,
wind.
we'll be climbing
Might be a bit
level of
bumpy.
35,000 feet. We're not anticipating any delays, so we hope to be underway very shortly. Once we push back to the stand, the cabin crew will start securing the cabin. As we head to the departure runway, please make sure you're seated and secured as they make their way around the aircraft. The weather is not looking particularly brilliant, so it might be a little uncomfortable at times as we climb to our cruise level. There's nothing to worry about. Just make sure you keep an eye on the seatbelt sign and I'll turn it off once we're in clearer air. Once we're airborne, there shouldn't be any issue during our climb. It's a pretty straightforward departure out of the airport, so nothing to worry about there. The wind forecast during our cruise looks very favourable, so we expect to arrive on time at our destination, but we will of course keep you up to date should there be any changes. If you could get yourself seated and secured in the meantime, we'll be able to make a departure as soon as everything is ready. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the flight.
Okay, let's start getting ready. So this will trigger the ground crew to set up for pushback.
Go ahead.
Call me when you require pushback.
We're all set, so feel free to get connected and start when ready.
Roger. Ground tow is connected.
Roger.
Okay, so we can set up then. So we need to do PACX off. Open APU bleed on. Temperature still quite high. So we might actually want to do this for when the PACX come back on.
Go ahead.
Just a reminder, if you're using software to track your virtual airline flights, you might want to start it now if you haven't already.
Roger.
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Tow is connected. Release parking brakes when ready to push back.
Roger.
Before start checklist below the line.
Before start checklist below the line. Air conditioning packs.
Off.
Anti-collision light.
On.
Parking brake.
Set.
Transponder.
Odds off.
Before start checklist below the line completed.
Start sequence is 2 then 1.
Check.
Parking brake is on. We're ready to go.
Roger. Tow is attached. Steering pin is inserted. Stand by while we start pushback. Okay, Captain, we're clear of the stand and you're free to start engines.
Starting engine 2.
Roger.
Start engine 2.
Starting engine 2. Oil pressure.
Ground. Please push so we're facing right.
Cabin crew, set doors to automatic and cross-check.
Ground. Please push straight backwards. Face right, please. Ground, please stop here.
Roger.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please set your
we ask
parking
your
brake.
attention while we take you through the safety procedures on this aircraft. A safety
Parking brake
belt
is
in
set.
your seat pocket should
Roger.
prevent sickness, toxic
Stand by.
gases,
Please keep your parking brake on while we monitor
and
engine startup and disconnect the tow.
Starter cut out.
Roger.
There are 2 emergency exits at the rear, or in the middle and
Starting
Number
number
2
1.
stable.
Roger.
Your lights
Start
will
engine
be
1.
vital to an exit. Please
Starting
note
engine
that
1.
The nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, leave all cabin baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released as shown.
Oil
It must be
pressure.
fastened when the seatbelt signs are on, and we recommend that you keep it fastened at all times. If the air supply fails, masks will drop from above you. Pull a mask towards you to start the oxygen. Put the mask over your nose and mouth, hold in place with the strap and pull on each side to adjust. Put on your own mask before helping others. If we land on water, take the life jacket from under your seat. Put it over your head. Pass the tapes around your waist, click together and pull the strap to adjust. Do not inflate it inside the aircraft.
Okay, Captain. Looks like a good startup on all engines and tow is disconnected. Nose wheel is free, so you're good to go.
Blow into the tube.
We'll get ourselves disconnected now, so have a safe flight. Look out for the pin on the left, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks very much for your help. Pin on the left and we'll see you again soon.
Starter cut out.
And thank you for flying with self-loading cargo.
Number 1 stable.
Flight controls check. Flight controls check.
Ready.
Pull left. Pull right. Center. Full up. Pull down. Center. Pull left. Full right. Center.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. Everyone seated and secured for takeoff.
Thanks.
Let me know when you're
Flight
ready to
controls
take off,
check
and I'll get
complete.
you seated and secured.
I will, no problem.
Before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators.
On.
APU.
Off.
Start switches.
Continuous.
Probe heat.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Air conditioning.
PACX auto bleeds on.
Isolation valve.
Auto.
Flaps.
5 required, 5 selected, green light. Five required, 5 selected, green light. Set and checked.
Stabilizer trim.
Set and checked.
Start levers.
Idle detent.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Recall.
Checked.
Before taxi checklist completed.
Clear left.
Clear right.
Alright, there we are. Finally off the stand. And making our way to runway 19 for our departure out of Cape Town. So obviously that 3,500 feet few clouds has dissipated. Yes, we've just got some before takeoff checks left to do. And then we are good to go on our way out of Cape Town. So once we get off the apron here, we can give it a minute or so, and then we'll tell the cabin to take their seats and we can start before takeoff. In fact, it's even less than that. Once we kind of get off the apron here, we can do that because we're pretty close to the runway already.
Stations, seats for takeoff, please.
Before takeoff checklist to the line.
Before takeoff checklist to the line. Config.
Checked.
Flaps.
5-5 green lights.
Stabilizer trim.
5.5 units set.
This is a completely normal procedure, and they will be turned
Set and
back on
checked.
once we've completed
Takeoff
our
briefing.
departure.
Reviewed.
Holding air cabin.
Secure.
Holding air cabin. Cabin.
Secure.
Before takeoff checklist to the line completed.
Approach is clear on the left.
Approach is clear on the right.
Before takeoff checklist below the line.
Standby. Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP. Cabin crew, seats for departure.
Set. Set.
Transponder.
TARA.
Strobe lights.
On.
Landing lights.
On.
Before takeoff checklist below the line completed. Checked. Stabilized.
Set takeoff thrust.
Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. 80 knots. V1, rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Positive rate. Gear up. LNAV.
Select autopilot on. Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Flaps up.
Speed checked. Flaps up.
After takeoff checklist.
Stand by. After takeoff checklist. Air conditioning and pressurization 1.4 set. Altimeters. Flaps up, no lights.
Passing 4,000 feet, QNH 1016.
After takeoff checklist completed.
Bug up.
Bug up.
Release the cabin.
Okay.
Cabin crew, you're free to move around the cabin.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Set standard.
please keep your seatbelts fastened while the seatbelt sign is on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. Toilets are located at each end of the cabin. Remember that smoking is not permitted at any time. This includes e-cigarettes. In just a few moments we'll commence our in-flight service, offering you the chance to purchase from our selection of fresh food available today. All details can be found in your in-flight brochure. You can also purchase a selection of hot beverages together with drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept
Altimeters.
pounds, euros, most major currencies. and
Climbing
debit
flight
or
level
credit cards.
350, 10
Direct
checks.
change would be greatly appreciated.
10 checks.
You can do it any
Fuel
time.
for pumps
Then
on.
press us
Lights.
to join you in the cabin shortly. Thank you.
APU. Air conditioning and pressurization 4.2. Fasten belts. Happy to release the cabin? Recall monitor 121.50 on VHF2.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Gentlemen, the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign, so you are now free to move around the cabin. However, for your safety, we do recommend that you remain seated with your belt fastened at all times during the flight. Thank you.
Good evening once again from the cockpit. As you may have noticed, we've begun our descent. Depending on the destination air traffic, we should be landing in around 30 minutes. In the meantime, I will be instructing the cabin crew to get the cabin ready for our arrival. Once that happens, the seatbelt sign will be illuminated and you will be required to stay seated and secured until after landing. If you need to visit the toilet, it may be worth making your way towards one now. For now though, I will wish you a very good evening once again, and I'll speak to you in a short while once we've landed.
Alright, so we've just started our descent into East London, and we're just going to go through some checks and things. So let's just get rid of this and go here. So okay, so it is raining, scattered clouds at 3,400, overcast at 4,200. So we've got a decent gap under the clouds, but still going to be cloudy on the way in. Okay, we have no arrivals, but we are doing the ILS runway 29. Yes, we're going to go down to 2,000 feet. It's at altitude 2,000.
2,000 set.
You have control?
I have control.
Okay, so we're going down to 2,000, and it's 109.9 to 89. set 109.90 on nav 2.
Roger.
Set course on your side 289.
289 set.
Okay, minimums will be 585. Like so. Okay, that is set. Once we arrive, so we're landing 29, we're going to go all the way to the end and we'll taxi Alpha into the stand. Very, very simple. Okay, let's check out our performance. Oh, right, we're not going to do flaps 15. We're going to do flaps full. Wow, even that says... So we normally do VRF plus 5. Yeah, that doesn't give us a lot of margin, but we'll do auto brakes 2, and obviously if we can see it becomes an issue, we will do manual braking. So auto brakes will be level 2 for today. Okay, we're pretty much going to have to vector ourselves in here after this point. Which is fine. Okay, but we're on profile and we can see the clouds starting to get thicker out in front of us. Okay, let's do the briefing. Oh, that's the other thing I didn't check, was the missed approach altitude. $4,500.
Are you ready for the approach brief?
Okay.
The arrival routine will be via the ATC assigned star, complying with all the published speed and altitude restrictions for an ILS approach. Planning a flaps 40 landing. Final approach fixed altitude is 2,000 feet. Decision altitude is 200 feet. Missed approach altitude is 4,500 feet. Taxi route in will be assigned by ATC. We'll be arriving at a gate. The current weather poses a threat. We won't rush any procedures today. Descent speeds and navigation radios are set. Airport NOTAMs have been reviewed. Any questions, comments or concerns?
No questions.
Approach brief complete.
Cabin crew, prepare the cabin for landing.
Control?
You have control.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Descent
we will
checklist.
shortly be landing.
Descent checklist.
Please ensure
Pressurization.
your is safely stowed with your laptop inside.
Set and checked.
Your tray
Anti-ice.
table must be stowed.
Off.
Armrest down and window
Approach
wide
briefing
open.
and fuel.
You now
Discussed.
need to be seated with your
Indicated
seatbelt fastened
airspeed
at
and
the landing.
altimeter bugs.
Please
Set and
stop us by
checked.
handing in any rubbish,
Descent checklist completed.
or magazines that you do not want to take with you. The toilets are no longer in service. Thank you.
Okay, so QNH 1018. Okay, we're going over to heading mode and we're going to put the seatbelts on now as well because it's going to start getting bumpy, I think. Right, if we go back here to our charts, we're basically just going to vector ourselves in on this path here and then in onto the ILS. Okay, because this runway is fairly short, we're going to need to be on the ball and put it down on the marks. So probably going to be a firmer landing than usual, but we need to make sure that we put it down and we don't float, so we can get the brakes and the reverse thrust doing their thing as soon as possible. Okay, coming up to 12,000 feet. We do need to start slowing down soon. In fact, we'll probably do that now. Yeah, that's what I thought. The speed's not going to come back really at all, so we're probably going to just put in some speed brakes for a bit just to get us to that 250 mark. As we start making our way into the clouds now. And this approach is actually normally quite pretty as we're out over the ocean. If you look left, you can see the coastline, but obviously with the clouds, we'll see when we break out underneath them. But yeah, at the moment, not going to see very much. Yeah, we can arm the speed brakes while we're here. And the other thing I'm going to do just in preparation is actually just turn the lights on, just in case it gets dark while we're under the clouds. I mean, it obviously will get darker, I just don't know how dark it's going to be. Onto the intercom
Altimeters.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. Everything is secured, ready for landing.
Thank you.
If you let me know when you're ready to land, I'll make sure the rest of the crew are seated and ready.
I will, no problem.
Passing 9,000 feet, 10 checks.
10 checks. Cabin crew, 10 minutes to landing. Fuel 4. Pumps on. Lights. Angle of bank. Air conditioning and pressurization 3.0. Fasten belts. Recall 121.50 selected.
I can just see the coastline on our left there. Weather looks much worse out that way, so actually it seems like it's kind of passed over the airport. Transition altitude is 7,000. It's got it as 8,000 there. Okay, weather actually doesn't look too bad. What's our wind like? We've got 11 knots on our tail at the moment. And if we go back here, we're expecting about 13 knots, so that kind of makes sense. And it does feel like we're absolutely crawling along. Okay, we also don't really have to be this far out. So we can start bringing it closer. In reality, this would be vectored by ATC, obviously. I want to try and cut in front of that cloud bank over there. Don't really want to head into that if we can avoid it. Right, switch over to QNH 1018. Set QNH 1018. Set altimeter 1018. Alright, let's start slowing ourselves down here and start getting on track for the ILS. Oh, cool, the rain. A little bit of rain there as we came through those clouds. Wow, that looks kind of rainy and low going in towards the airport. The airport's kind of over there. Might just be on the edge. Generally, it looks pretty rough that way, and even worse up that way.
One to go.
I've overshot here because I'm looking at the rain. Oh wow, this is bad. Flaps 1.
Speed checked.
Arm approach.
Approach armed.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 1. Cabin crew, seats for landing. Speed checked.
All station seats for landing, please.
Get
Flaps
down.
5. Gear down.
Flaps 15.
Speed checked.
Ladies and gentlemen, because this is a nighttime flight, the safety
Flaps
purposes
15.
the cabin lights ready for our arrival. Please don't worry, this is a completely normal procedure, and they will be turned back on once we've arrived on the ground. Thank you.
Approach checklist. Approach checklist. Flaps 30.
Speed checked.
Flaps 40.
Flaps 30. Speed checked. Flaps 40.
1,000.
Speed checked. Speed checked. Flaps 40.
Landing checklist.
$500 feet.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. $100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse as normal, 7.3%, 100 knots. $80 knots. $60 knots. Auto brake disarmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving.
Okay, so I don't know what happened there. It wouldn't do the. It wouldn't pick up me saying the landing checklist, so we never actually went through the final landing checks. So I had to kind of just do a quick scan for myself to make sure that everything was set. And then because of that, I ended up doing exactly what I said we shouldn't. We floated a little bit, wasn't terrible, but we should have touched down a little bit sooner. But anyway, here we are safely on the ground at East London. I didn't have to do any hard manual braking. The auto brake 2 and full reverse worked out fine, even though he touched a little bit deeper. So I wasn't too stressed because I still had quite a bit extra braking action in hand. So yeah, in the end, a very nice flight down to East London. I caused those issues for myself by being kind of late to be set up on the ILS because I overshot looking at the clouds. But in any case, welcome to East London, and we're just going to taxi all the way down almost to the end of the runway to get to the apron. But what I do need to do is just check landing lights are off, speed brake is disarmed. That's it.
APU on the buses.
I think we'll probably take the first gate, which is the furthest away from us. And we'll do what I've seen most of the 737s do here at East London is park at an angle so they don't go straight in, because they don't actually do pushback here. So I'll show you what I mean.
Three minutes.
Okay, there's a random vehicle in one, so let's take two. This is actually exactly where I parked, or exactly where the Safair 737 parked last time I flew to East London. Okay, APU generator is on and on the bus. So we can switch off. And then signal signs off. And we can light off.
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please.
Loud and clear.
Roger. Hi, Captain. Would you mind turning off the taxi lights? They're a little bright for us down here.
Whoops. Honestly, I thought oh, right. I'm actually supposed to say that for the first officer
Roger.
to do that.
Thanks for
That's
that,
my
Captain.
bad.
Next time, I'll need to remember my sunglasses.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Captain. Ground power is available. Stand by. We'll start getting you offloaded in a couple of minutes.
Roger.
Full shutdown checklist.
Fuel pumps.
Cabin crew, the aircraft is secure. Please open the doors when ready. You're clear to begin deboarding.
Off.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Electrical.
On APU.
Fasten belts.
Off.
Window heat.
Off.
Probe heat.
Off.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Electrical hydraulic pumps.
Off.
Voice recorder.
Auto.
Air conditioning packs.
Auto.
Engine bleeds.
On.
APU bleed.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Steady set.
Start switches.
Off.
Auto brake.
Off.
Speed brake.
Down detent.
Flaps.
Up no lights.
Parking brake.
Set.
Start levers.
Cut off.
Weather radar.
Off.
Transponder.
Set and checked.
Transponder.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. All of the passengers have been offloaded.
Thank you.
If you need any
2000
support,
standby.
give me a call.
CVRCB.
Ground
In.
to cockpit.
Cockpit door.
Go ahead.
Just a reminder, if you use software to track your virtual airline flight, might want to finalize your flight now if you haven't already done so.
Roger.
Unlocked.
Full shutdown checklist completed.
Alright, well there we are, parked up and deboarded here at stand 2 in East London. And that is going to bring us to the end of the flight. I must just say though, I do quite enjoy SOP 2 of FS2Crew for the PMDG B738. It gives us as the pilot flying a bit more to do. But in any case, that is going to bring us to the end of the flight and the end of this video. If you made it all the way to this point, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you know what to do down below, and I'll see you in the next one.